Hi, we're Chris and Teresa, and we would love to guide you on your fiber arts journey. We own a successful fiber processing mill and online needle felting business, experienced at raising all fiber animals, and have renovated a 100-year-old school into a fiber arts retreat center.
Processing, needle felting, yarn, roving, fiber animals, and sustainable agriculture are all topics discussed here. Think of this as your one-stop shop for advice, information, tips, and getting your questions answered on all things from farm to needle. So pull up a seat, make sure you're cozy, and get ready to be inspired while you learn. This is EweTube.
Good afternoon, morning, or evening, whatever it is for you folks. It's welcome to EweTube number 200. We were kind of conned into be putting onto this 200, but Jeff and I are here to hopefully entertain you and maybe give you a little bit of knowledge at the same time. So this is a special episode for us, number 200. This started a long time, well, obviously 200 episodes ago. This started with about 200 people, and today it's a little over 5,000 people. So it's grown over the years. This is Jeff Perleberg. Go ahead and introduce yourself to these people.
I'm Teresa's husband.
Slave or husband, yeah, whatever you want to call them. And I'm Steve Armbrust. I'm Christy's slave or husband. So yeah, like I said, welcome on board here today. Jeff's going to give us a sheep update, which I know you all look forward to that every week. So I'll let him take that over for us.
So as most of you know, we had a problem last fall with salmonella bacteria in our flock. And we lost a bunch of sheep, and we've been dealing all winter with our local vet, trying to find a vaccine, do something to stem this back a little bit. Yesterday, he called back after spending about a week on the phone with veterinarians around the country and pharmaceutical companies and other vets that he knows. And right now, we're kind of in the uncharted waters with an experimental vaccine that we're going to hopefully be able to give this weekend. We're going to start with 4 sheep, 4 ewes and 4 lambs, and kind of go from there, see what happens. We don't know at this point because nobody's done this before. So wow. we're just going to go down that road.
This is like an experiment then?
Yeah, it's a very scary experiment.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The guy you keep talking about, is that your normal vet that you?
He's been really good about helping us out. He has sheep himself, so he really understands.
Good.
And we've been dealing with him for 15 years or 20 years, something like that.
Okay. And so who created this vaccine then?
I'm not even sure. It's actually a vaccine for cows, because the only sheep vaccine for salmonella is in New Zealand, and we in the United States have a hard time getting anything for sheep because it's the number game. There's not enough numbers of sheep for the pharmaceutical companies to make vaccines for sheep. We used to be able to get a vaccine for chlamydia and a couple other diseases. We can't get that anymore. Canada can use it, New Zealand, Australia, but in the US they quit making it because it didn't pencil out.
Yeah. Now New Zealand, from what I understand, they have more sheep than people there, right? So there's a large population of sheep there.
Yes, at one time it was 7 sheep per person.
Wow.
I think it's dropped down to 5 sheep per person.
Wow.
But yeah, that's not a very big country, but a lot of sheep.
So do you have any idea what kind of numbers of sheep are in that country? Is it millions? Thousands?
Not even sure.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of sheep.
Yeah. Well, somebody out there probably knows the answer to that.
Yeah.
Or at least somebody can Google it for us and let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little update on the schoolhouse here. The girls yesterday signed the papers for the conventional loan now. And we want to give a shout out to Roxy at Dakota Business Lending and Darren and Derek at Bank North, which they're local people here in town, right outside of, or in Enderlin, which is just a few miles from us. So just wanted to give them a little thanks to them, and we're glad that finally got this to happen. So yeah, Maker's Day just went on here. We had 9 people that attended it. There was a variety of projects that they did. We have a sheet here that we're going by, so it's not like we're making this stuff up as we go. But
we're not that smart, by the way.
Yeah, we're not. Some of the things that they did on the list here is quilting. They did some spinning, some knitting, some needle felting, and also some weaving. So it was a good turnout of people here. Glad to see everybody coming and enjoying themselves at the Nome Schoolhouse. So that was kind of fun to have that happen for us here. One other thing that we also had here was something that we called the Successful Small Town Market. So we got together with a lady in Fingal, and she brought down some of her stuff here, helped us with the setup and stuff. There was approximately 800 people that attended this last venture it was a Saturday, but we did it all day long. There was 45 vendors here. Jeff's baby sheep were here.
Yep, they're bucket babies.
Yeah, they were. That's right. They were all bucket babies, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, they were a big hit when they were here. Everybody had a fun time.
We only brought 3. We didn't bring all 28 of them.
Yeah, there's 28 little sheep.
Yeah.
Nice. The ones that came was Cardinal, which he was the black one for the people that were here. He was a big hit. He was the black one was probably the most popular one. He was also probably the most friendly one to everybody too. Pintail was one of the other ones that was here, and then Kinglet was the third that was here. And they, at first, all the 3 of your sheep, your babies, were a little skittish about the people coming up to them, but as the day went on, they got friendlier and friendlier and friendlier. So it was neat. People got to interact with the sheep, and they behaved themselves very, very well. So you did a good job with them, Jeff. Very good. Yeah.
So, if you guys are wondering why we have so many bottle lambs, we call them the bucket babies because they don't really drink out of a bottle. They have a bucket. They're on self-feeder. If you ever been in the sheep business, which some of you have and some of you haven't, but as you go through your 34 to 45 days of lambing, by the time you get to about day 20, your patience wears really thin with mothers that don't want to feed your babies, or there's just something wrong, and you already have a couple bottle lambs because there's twins or triplets or whatever, or mom dies, that happens. So as time goes on, your patience wears thin. You don't want to fight with them, and it isn't worth the struggle, so you just put them in the bucket pen, and they're happy.
They get fed whenever they want to get fed.
Yeah, they have food 24/7.
Yeah, and I know some of these bucket babies, from what I understand, some of them could come from a mom that had triplets or doubles, and she can't support that many little sheep, so one of them or more goes into the bucket pen, right?
Yeah. Well, last year we had, with our sheep we bought from Iowa, the one had triplets, and we cared for them and loved them, and we bottle fed them before we started the bucket thing, and they all ended up expiring on us.
Oh.
This year we just took when she had triplets again, we just took them all. We got them their colostrum, made sure they're going good, and went right into the bucket pen, and they are some of our biggest lambs right now.
Yeah, and that's what you had told me when I asked you about that when I was out at the farm, at the ranch the other day, and you said that oftentimes those bucket babies will do actually better than the ones that are on the mom. And I suppose they get the right nutrition, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So.
And they have food anytime they want it.
Yeah. Whether the mother wants to give it or not, right?
Right,
Because
because
the
as
bucket's always there.
time goes on, you get month and a half, 2 months into the lamb's life, a lot of them ewes don't really care to be nursed anymore.
I said that the 3 that were here, and they were all bucket babies, they all looked very, very good.
Yeah.
Very healthy, very happy, and eventually got happy with visiting with people as well. So it was neat to see.
Cardinal, and I used to need some therapy when I was out in the lambing barn and it was still cold. I'd sit down in the bucket pen with them. And Cardinal used to climb all over the top of me.
Really?
She'd be up on my head. She'd be nibbling on whatever she could nibble on, she would nibble on.
Oh.
She
Well,
was-
they kind of think of you as mom now, don't they?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
their surrogate mother.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you get pretty attached to them, right?
You do, unfortunately.
Did you miss them that day that they were gone then?
Not particularly, because I don't see them that much now, because now we're done lambing. So I go out in the morning before I go to work and I fill their bucket and then I come home. There's only 5 on the bucket right now, so
Okay.
the rest have been weaned. And
Yeah, because I think all 3 of them that were here, if I'm not mistaken, were all weaned,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
because you do not want one that hasn't been weaned around, because
Why?
they cry constantly.
Oh,
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry.
Yeah, they're just like kids.
Is that what I need to do at home? Is when I'm hungry, I just cry a little bit? Will my wife feed me then? Do you
Not
think?
likely. No.
Okay.
Nah.
Just
It
a
don't
thought.
work that way.
Just a thought, but
They say you're old enough to know better.
yeah, that's true.
There's frozen pizza in the freezer. You help yourself.
Well, I got this grill out back now. In fact, one of my neighbors just gave me a grill, and it's a great grill. So I've been doing a little bit more grilling now that winter is finally gone from North Dakota. It's actually nice enough, warm enough outside that I can go outside and grill. So oftentimes I do have to feed myself. But my wife does feed me once in a while, so don't feel sorry for me. I do get by. Okay, so we talked about this small town market. That was a lot of fun, especially with the sheep here, with all the vendors here. I mean, there was such a variety of choices amongst these vendors of stuff that you could get. In fact, I got some grape jelly and some couple different kinds of jelly from one of the vendors. So it was good. It was a lot, like I said, a lot of people here buying different things. So it was well attended at best. Yeah, so one of the questions from last week, and I think Jeff will touch on this if we will.
So, where did Teresa get the online watercolor class? We supposed to give the answer there, Chief?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, because they somebody
asked?
asked about it. One of these YouTube watching people asked.
okay, you
that question.
YouTubers. It was Skillshare.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know what Skillshare is. You know, we're just reading our notes again here.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
Skillshare was the answer to that.
We're a little bit ignorant on some of this stuff, but that's okay. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, we don't. You know, we only get to do this every 200th time. So
So that's been,
maybe
what,
when 400 comes along, you'll all see us again.
3 years in the making.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, all right. Next question. What do you do for a living?
Me or you? I think they
I'm
want-
asking you.
Well, what I do right now is I'm retired. I'm officially retired. I kind of, after I got done redoing the schoolhouse here, I kind of said that's enough. I kind of retired. I don't sit around all day doing nothing. I do work with a local electrician here. He asked me to help him out every once in a while, so I do that. Obviously, I stay here and I still take care of some of the things at the school. When things break, when the lawn needs mowing, things like that. So mostly retired is the answer to that question. And how about you?
Well, 6 days a week, I'm full-time rural mail carrier. And when I get done with that, if it was last winter, I was full-time snow blower, snow removal, all that good stuff. I take care of the sheep, the cows, that kind of stuff.
You're a busy man, in other words. Not retired yet.
Not quite.
Okay.
Soon to
what's-
be retired from the Postal Service.
Really? Did
Yeah.
you have a number on that yet?
Under 8 months.
Under 8 months.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Well, good.
January 2024, I can be full-time shepherd.
Okay. All
So
right.
we need more sheep by then.
Yeah, there you go. That'll keep you busy. Yeah.
So, Steve, where did you meet your wife?
My wife, I used to work at car dealerships in my younger years, and I actually met her at one of the car dealerships that I worked at. So, and now that seems like a long time ago, 30 some years ago, I think it is now.
So how many?
I don't know.
Come on.
I really don't
Pressure's on. I know the answer to mine.
know. I'm pretty sure it's 31 now, I think. Or 32, something like that, yeah. How about you? Where did you meet Teresa at?
Well, you ever heard the song Farmer's Daughter?
Yep.
Okay, that's my story.
Okay. She was a farmer's daughter.
Yep, I went
Winemere girl.
Winemere, North Dakota. I
Yep.
went to work for her dad back in 1988.
Okay.
And went to work for him. That was fine. Everything was going good. Got moved in, and then I found out he had 2 daughters. Yeah, right away, red flag. Nope, don't date the boss's daughters. I've seen that situation go south.
Usually the dads don't allow that. But
So anyway, I married the daughter. Smartest thing that.
and
God
obviously Dad approved of this, right?
Yeah,
Good.
Dad approved of that. Yeah.
Good. Good.
So yeah, the farmer's daughter kind of sticks in my mind. That's how I met my wife, and that was 1988. I didn't talk to her till 1989. Started dating in 89.
Why didn't you talk to her for a while?
She was in college, and
Oh.
she was working, and
So you weren't on the top of her list right then? Is what you're
no,
saying?
not
Okay.
really. And we met at a street dance in Winemere, and a bunch of us were getting together afterwards. And I said, just out of politeness, her and her friend, just come on over, you know. And she come over, and we ended up talking for I don't know how many hours. It was a long time. And yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah. Well,
So that was 89, and we got married in 91, so this year will be 32 years.
nice. Well, you found yourself a good woman. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I can't complain. You didn't do so bad yourself, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
This next question, this is going to be my favorite question to answer.
Okay. Well,
So, what was your first thought when your wife told you the plan of renovating the Gnome schoolhouse?
So what's your answer for that?
No, you get to go first.
I can't. This is a family-friendly show. I can't say what I really
So-
said.
Can I tell you the story? I think you guys probably heard the story of Steve the first time he'd seen the school. We come over here. I'd seen it once before. I didn't even know it was here because I thought it was just a shelter belt back here. So anyway, we
Yeah,
come
true.
over here after they bought it, and we're walking through the school. And you guys know Chris. She's kind of happy, upbeat, go-getter. And she's like bouncing around and, so what do you think, Steve? What do you think, Steve? And Steve over here sits there with the frickin' poker face like you wouldn't believe. Don't ever play poker with this guy. He's going to win. So we get all the way through the gym, up, down to the basement, up the stairs. We get up to the top floor. And Chris is, and Steve looks at her. You guys should be committed and turn around. Walked away. Didn't say another word. And Chris is like, he'll come around. I will never forget that expression on Steve's face. You should be committed and turn around and walked away from us.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure most of you've seen pictures of it before and after, and the before pictures were a little overwhelming at first, I guess.
It'd make anybody turn and run.
Yeah. Yeah, and prior to this, I had done a lot of repair and remodeling in my lifetime, and I'm looking at this when I'm looking around, not saying anything with this poker face, as you said. I'm thinking about all the work involved in getting this put back in the way that the girls would want it to be. So So yeah, there was. I'm just kidding. There was no cuss words about it.
No, there was.
going in.
The only thing he
But
said
I
you
was a
should
little
be
concerned.
committed, and turned around and walked away.
Yeah. So what was your thought?
Well, when I first found out they bought the school, I was out on the mail route, and I get this picture with their arms around each other. We bought it, and they're standing in front of the gym. Oh, cool! They bought a forest. That's all I can remember is they bought a forest. Well, we can buy shelter about anywhere, but
Yeah.
when I looked at the picture, it was just overgrown with trees, and I didn't even know it was here. For how many years we lived in Fort Ransom, drove to Fargo, and never knew this was here.
Yeah.
Teresa
And drove by here all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we come and looked at it, and walking through it, I seen the potential because I like old buildings, especially brick.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when you can see through the walls and
Through the roofs.
yeah, part of it's caved in, and
Yeah.
the gym was rotted out all along both sides.
Yeah. There was a lot of things that.
And I'm thinking, we're insane.
Yeah.
You two are insane for paying money for this in the first place, and we're insane for agreeing to it.
Yeah. Well, you know that, and the funny part about the whole story is when I first saw it, and when I first came here and looked at it, she brought me here to ask my opinion on it, whether or not they should buy it. And I found
It was already
afterwards it was already bought. Yeah, that wasn't an option of
No.
whether I think they should buy it or not.
Yeah, their money been exchanged by the time you got asked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you know, several hours of work later,
A couple hours of labor put into it. I remember one night when I was over here, I think there used to be a false wall all around the bottom of the gym. Remember that light blue, beautiful color?
Oh
they
yeah,
had?
oh yeah.
And I was tearing that out, and it was in the spring, and it was raining. And I had to keep moving over to find a spot where the roof wasn't rotted out because I was getting rained on so bad.
Yeah.
That's when you really wonder, why?
Yeah, yeah. Why? But it's come together. It's a beautiful place. For those that haven't been to our Nome schoolhouse yet, you do need to come. Spend the evening. We have 11 rooms upstairs, as you probably most of you know. So it's a great place. You know, I used to live in Fargo. I was born and raised in Fargo, and then we moved outside of town, just south of Fargo. So Fargo's kind of always been my home. But ever since I've been here in Nome, North Dakota, it's pretty special. It's really neat being in small town North Dakota. No noise at night. There's no 5 o'clock traffic here. I just came from Fargo today through the 5 o'clock traffic and through a hailstorm. But yeah, there's nothing like being in Nome, North Dakota. So if you get a chance, come and stay in one of our rooms, spend the night, spend the week, spend a month if you want. It's a great place to be, and it's really pretty cool.
You know,
So all the hard work, I think, over the years has paid off. The work that Jeff and I have done to get this to where it is today is, it seems a little more worthwhile right now. Lots more so than when we first saw it.
yeah, because there's times when during the construction it's like one brick wall after another. It's like,
Well, how many trees did you take down? A lot.
well,
A
there's
lot.
trees everywhere.
Yeah.
You could not walk, this is a fact, you could not walk from the front door of the gym, or not the gym, but the front door of the school where it is today. You could not walk to the south side of this gym
Right. Right.
because it was so overgrown you could not walk through there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've showed people have seen pictures of that, and I've showed people's pictures of that. And what I keep saying about that the only good thing about that is you drove by here, you didn't know it was back here, and it really, I think, saved a lot of vandalism that could have happened had people seen it from the road and stopped and whatever.
I don't know if any of you know what, before they bought this place, we went and looked at the school in Sheldon.
Oh.
And Chris and Teresa, I do believe, looked at the school in Fingal.
Yep.
And Wolverton,
Yes.
I think was the other
Wolverton.
one. I was with for the-
Comstock. Comstock.
Comstock. Okay.
Yeah, it was
I was
Comstock.
with for the Sheldon school visit, which could have been an awesome building, but vandals had got it,
Well,
and it was just stupid.
Yeah.
So,
one of the things that might have saved vandalism here is we have this great neighbor that lives just to the north of here, and he's kind
doesn't
of
miss anything.
Nope, he's kind of a watchdog. He probably wouldn't have allowed that. Well,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's
So
good. You know, that's another thing about small town North Dakota.
Yeah.
Great neighbors around here.
Because a small town story, Teresa and I, when we first got married, lived in a small town called Bowden, North Dakota. And our landlords lived like quarter block east of us. And they call us, "Oh, your light's on upstairs."
Yeah, that's small town North Dakota though. It is.
Most people would see that as really snoopy, and small town North Dakota is just like, "Yep, thanks. We'll go shut that off."
Yeah, yeah.
Because they were in the mindset you don't waste anything. So
You know, enough said about our thoughts on the renovation of our first thoughts on our first impression of the school. Let's put it that way. I think we probably talked about that enough. But we got another question that we have to answer according to the girls. So
the boss babes.
The boss babes, yeah, that's what we call them. So the question is, what is your favorite fiber art?
Well, the only one I've done, such as yourself, is probably going to be needle felting. And I suck at it. I'll be the first to admit it. It's a skill and probably has to have more effort put in than I put towards it, but I can make round balls, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say the same thing because I have been introduced to needle felting, and I actually kind of enjoy doing it. The part that you're talking about that you suck at it, it's only because you're comparing your work to your wife's work.
See, that's a problem.
Teresa's work, there's none other like it. You know, I can every time that she does one, I go up there and I squeeze it, and it's just so solid, it's so firm. I can't do that, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Needle felting is probably my favorite thing to do of the fiber art things. I'm not a knitter, not a crocheter.
I tried knitting.
Did you? How'd that go for you?
I sucked at that too.
Okay, all right.
But the needle felting back years ago when I worked at Bobcat, which is a local manufacturing place worldwide now, but for those who didn't know, but anyway, I worked with a bunch of men. And I'd talk about stuff my wife does, and they're like, huh? And so one day I took one of her, I think it was a duck, took to work with me, put it in a little plastic bag, and put it in my man purse, which is lunchbox. So I took it to work with me, and at break time I took it out, and I said, this is what my wife does. And they all just kind of like stared at it like, and how does she make that? Is it like on a styrofoam form and then she just glues that stuff on? And I had a piece of welding wire in my lunchbox on purpose, and I said, here, take this, poke through there. And they poked through there. It's not styrofoam. I know, that's solid wool. Because they were feeling it and it was firm. And they were just blown away by, and then the detail, I didn't dare take the pintail, because have you ever seen a pintail duck?
Yeah.
The detail on your back is just, it blows you away. But
that's more of an advanced thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So those that you haven't tried needle felting and are thinking about doing it, if him and I like it and can do it, you got to give it a try.
Yeah.
It's very addicting. It's kind of, I don't know, stress relieving.
It's good stress
relaxing.
relief.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but a lot of people.
And if there's guys out there that are thinking about doing it, by all means do it. And that's a kind of a, when we were talking about the school and all these things that are going on, the most amazing thing that I see pretty much every time I give somebody a tour or show somebody around, oftentimes the girlfriend or the wife or the significant other will drag their husband, boyfriend, whatever the case may be, out here. And I'm sure I can just see him, he's sitting at home going, I'm going to go do what? I'm going to go see what? Why do I want to go do this? And honest to God, every time that I give a gal and a guy a tour, by the time the tour is done, he is far more interested than the girl. Not that the girl's not interested, but the guys always, they go, I had no idea. This is unbelievable. So it's really, we really get a lot of conversion on the men that come out here and see the place and enjoy the small town North Dakota.
I do have one thing to add, but this is kind of bragging about my wife again, but kind of partial to
Well,
her.
yeah, you do that. You're last I heard, you're still in love with her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, my wife made a moose one time. It was a custom order back when she did a little bit of that stuff.
Big moose?
It stood pretty tall.
Okay.
And she sent pictures. There was a lady out in Washington State, and she sent pictures to it. And the lady responds, I think my moose is smirking at me. So what Teresa does with what she sees is amazing. What Chris can do with all the machines down there just blows me away, because I'm more the hands-on mechanical, get down and get dirty and have fun. Mm-hmm. That's more my speed, but what Teresa does she just sees things different than I do.
Yeah, she's got a lot of talent, that's for sure.
Yeah.
An awful lot
Well,
of
they
talent.
both do.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's why she's got this whole academy, Bear Creek Quilting, the academy part of it, where she teaches people her skills that she has, so that if you get more and more advanced and you start taking her classes, or you learn even more. So it's a neat deal.
and if you ever seen the yarn making machine down in the dungeon down there, and you wonder how Chris makes that thing run, don't ask me, but it's amazing when it comes,
Yeah.
what comes out of it, and you see all that stuff and how,
Yeah. And that's, here again, when I talked about giving the tours and when the guys see that all the machinery going on downstairs and how that all works, it gets pretty fascinating. Pretty fascinating. Okay, so last week's question that the girls presented to everybody was, what year did Ron Anderson graduate from the Nome School? And that answer to that was 1960. And the winner from last week was Janice Nielsen. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. I apologize if I did not. And if you contact us through the Bear Creek Felting with your name, with your address and your shirt size. I don't know what the prize is. That's what they asked. But again, we're reading from the list they gave us.
Yep.
So bear
trust
with us.
me, we're not the sharpest knives in the drawer.
Yeah. The only other thing is we got they mentioned here they got some upcoming things coming on, which they seem like they've always got something upcoming. Lots of classes and retreats are coming up. And you can get ticket and information at university.org. Or I think also if you go to gnomeschoolhouse.com, you'll also be able to get through to the university through there, or see what's going on through the Gnome Schoolhouse site. So yeah, so come to one of the classes, stay the night, come to one of the retreats, stay the weekend, stay whenever you can.
Come from everywhere.
Yeah.
We're glad to have anybody. We do the harvest host. We have sleeping rooms.
Yeah.
We have
Campgrounds are.
campgrounds for your camper.
Yeah. And we got it all here. So.
We got food.
Yeah, we got a great chef here. Yeah. Does a great job for all of our guests.
Might be prejudiced, but if you go hungry and Libby's cooking, it's your own darn fault.
Yeah, that's
She's
for sure.
my daughter, so I can say that.
Yep, you can.
That was a sad day when my chef moved out of my house.
Yeah, you must have to cook for yourself now, right?
I do.
Yeah.
With our schedules, I pretty much feed myself now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And one of the things that the girls did, they have this new edition. Tell them about that new edition that we saw.
Oh, the little thing hanging up over
Yeah.
the boss babes picture.
And
And
they being the bosses,
they being the bosses and the babes.
they are kind of
That
babes.
kind of fits that.
Yeah, and you'll see the picture that I'm sure you'll see it listed here in this YouTube. So it's a great picture. The gal that did the photography did a great job with it. Yeah. And right now they have it temporarily. It's hanging in our dining room over the fireplace, so you can kind of everybody can kind of see it there for at least for a little while. I don't know for sure where it's going to live. I don't think they know that for sure yet either. But neat picture.
Everything around here is a work in progress.
Yeah.
So we need next week's question before we sign off.
Well, you spit out the question.
So we're sitting in the dining room. This might apply to people that only visited here, but we'll give you a hint. So how many stained glass pictures are in the dining room?
That are hanging in the dining room. How many
Yep.
stained glass work is hanging in the dining room? Okay.
And the answer is between 0 and 30.
Yeah.
So we narrow it down. And that's about all we have.
Yeah. Now some people have been here, and we encourage everybody, of course, to come here, and you can count them yourself. But so if you haven't seen them, you haven't been to the schoolhouse, you're surely entitled to make a good, educated guess on it. So nobody will be excluded from it, but
Yeah.
we have a number in line there. So yeah. So that's our question of the week.
I think that's all we have for you.
Yeah, I think we've gone through their entire list now.
Yep.
So
We even ad-libbed a little bit.
we did. We didn't really go much off script,
No,
which we could have been, and we tried to keep it family friendly.
Yeah.
So
It come across that we sometimes pick on our wives. Oh, hell yeah, we do.
yeah, every
Because
chance we do.
Every
we
chance
get.
we get. But one thing, make no doubts about it, we both love our wives dearly.
Absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
without them, life would be miserable.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all, folks.